Well, good morning, good evening, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to today's edition. Welcome to the show. Uh, Thank you and thank you. It's been uh, a little while here now since we have been off. I've been off, not necessarily we, but I've been off. As you join us today, we are going to be in conversation with the leadership of Yula, not Yula, sorry, ALCOP. Uh, let's share the show, please, as you join us. Let us know where you're joining us from. We're going to be in conversation here with the leadership of ALCOP. We are going to be in conversation with the leadership of ALCOP. Let's share the show, please. Um, a lot of things to talk about today. Let's share the show as you join us. Let us know where you are joining us from, and we will go from there. But let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day. Uh, let's share the show. Like I said, a lot of things to talk about. Let's share the show. We have a lot to cover today. It's good to be back. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back. Let us know where you're joining us from. Seku, Seku might join us here. Let us know where you're joining us from as we will be playing host here to ALCOP, the leadership of ALCOP. We'll be playing host to the leadership of ALCOP. Please uh, help us share the show. A lot of things to talk about. The politics of Liberia, we're almost there. We're almost readily there to get done with the elections. But let's share the show. Let's share the show, folks. Share the show wherever you are joining us from. You don't want to miss today's edition. Uh, we're going to be talking ALCOP. We're going to be talking everything ALCOP. We're going to be talking about ALCOP. Uh, Interestingly, today having to be the day that I just returned from a sabbatical. But let's share the show real quick. Share the show, folks. Help us to share the show. Invite someone. Interesting conversations. We're already seeing some of the representatives of ALCOP or the leadership of ALCOP. They're coming in here in the back end. Let's share the show. Let's have a conversation with ALCOP to clear the air on some things. Let's share the show, please, folks. Today we'll jump into the conversation ASAP here, but just to bring you some programming, Seku will be here. Seku will join us. We are hoping that he joins us. Some very, very good, exciting news and things going on here. We're also working with Yula. We might play host to Yula sometime this week, either tomorrow, very briefly. To come off a few, minute or seconds here. But let's share the show, please. I think the most important thing is for us to share the show and invite others to join the show. Let us know where you're watching us from. I'm already seeing people telling where they're watching us from. Someone said they're watching us from Paris, the city of light, where they have the Eiffel Tower. Very beautiful place, very beautiful scenery. I think I've been there once. I stopped there once. Don't tell nobody out there. I stopped at once. Chill, please. But don't try in the winter there. It gets freezing cold. Folks, let's share the show. Welcome to today's edition. Again, we're playing host to the leadership of ALCOP here. Lots of political talk this weekend. You don't want to miss SKTV this weekend. Lots of political talk. We're getting some good signals here. It seems and it looks like I will very soon. I will be taking over the Friday's edition of SKTV. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you'll be seeing my face. For those of you who hear my gut, it is what it is. Nobody's stupid yet. Nobody's stupid yet. But let's share the show, folks. It's good to be back. It feels good to be back. Welcome to many of you who are following us, who are sharing the show. Welcome and welcome to today's edition. You know, I'm telling you to share the show. I haven't even started sharing the show yet. Today we are talking everything ALCOP. You don't want to miss the conversation because it sounds and seems like it will be very, very, very interesting with a conversation with ALCOP. Very, very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. I'd really encourage you to be part of the conversation today because you might learn a thing or two here with ALCOP. You will more likely so learn a thing or two from and with ALCOP and the representatives. We trust that we're going to talk politics, a lot of politics. Let's see here. Give me a second, folks. Just give me one more second. Okay. See, ALCOP people are pulling in here. We'll have the moment here to share the show, and then once we share the show, we will. Once we share the show, we will. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to settle something here. So once we share the show, we're about to go to the musical break here. To all of you, we are about to hit the musical break. We want to hit the musical break here, but in the meantime, let's get to the musical break because today we are with ALCOP. We really don't have other news. We keep everything for tomorrow. We don't want to interrupt with the time. We want to talk everything ALCOP, like I said. The show will, like I said, it will be very interesting because there are a lot of things that we will learn today. I'm anticipating a lot of information and so forth. Let's get quickly to the musical break, and right after the musical break, we will be back. There are a lot of people that want to be president. Since we're in a presidential time or we are in electoral times, let's get to one of our favorite songs here. Everyone will become president. Let's get to it and see.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sonada dear boy. I'm glad with the great opportunity given me to introduce to you your president.
Babu want to become president.
That one not true.
Buskiro want to become president.
That one not true.
Poppy Dosse want to become president.
That one not true.
Crazy man you see want to become president.
That one not true.
Mr. Krede want to become president.
That one not true.
Mr. Lala man want to become president.
That one not true.
Yeah, president you will sing you.
That one not true.
Mr. Roro want to become president.
That one not true.
Yeah, go. Now how the president business will be? We suffering for some more. Mr. Lala want to become president. President you see want to become president. Mr. Become president. It can't be one angry. Let me tell you something. When they want to become president with Lala, they will come and say, as the president of the Republic of Liberia, I thank you people for introducing me as the president. Liberia will show you. When they be president to them, they will stand and say, I'm Mason. I will bring down Moldova and bear you new Moldova. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to steal the government money. I'm going to make sure 7-7 get their back pay. I'm the president going to make sure that the AFL going to be paid in 2 weeks. I'm going to make sure the students going to get 12 buses. I'm going to make sure for the little children they say, I'm going to buy two plastic bags for them to poo-poo inside. Yeah. Babu, you see, want to become president. Mr. President want to become president. Mr. Drongo want to become president. Lala want to become president. Karen Ripper want to become president. Listen to the speech. As the president of the Republic of Liberia, I'm going to make sure I'm going to electrify the city into 1 day time. As the president of the Republic, I'm going to dry the whole of the sea and pay you people estimate daily. And things go bad. Republic of Westwind going to be an estate. Mr. President, become president. Mr. Lala man want to become president. Mr. Ruru want to become president. Mr. Drug Jacob want to become president. Mr. Kenju man want to become president. Mr. Ripasa want to become president. Mosquito want to become president. The girl you see say want to become president. Everyone won't become president. And you now when you won't become president. Yeah. President, yo. Please come, let me see them will become president.
Ruthie, don't cry by yet. The president said, "Been in a war in my ear." Me, I got one question to how will be president. But wait now, how can you become president? Nobody know you. How do you become president? How will you become president? Hey, free folk man now want to become president. All the self jack on them, they won't become president. You gapping here, then you won't become president. Nobody know you, then you say you won't become president. Nobody can say infinity here, you won't become president. My brother, you can't become president. Taking as Apollo, you come to Liberia, you say you won't become president. No, you can't become president. You don't even know how you become president. You don't even know your dollar, you won't become president. You cannot even speak your own tongue, you won't become president. I don't know why you get ready to say you won't become president. Nobody even know you, you won't become president. Nobody share money, eat your want to become president.
Jabba, men won't become president. You know, easy. Let's share the show, folks. We will bring on Mr. Amara. I hope I pronounce his name well. I don't butcher his name. Let's bring on Amara. Uh, Amara Salomon Kamara. I'm sorry, Amara. I didn't see your middle name too clearly because it's connecting to the stuff here, so I couldn't see it. Could you please unmute yourself because we can't hear you, Amara? We cannot hear you, Amara.
Yeah, I'm muting myself now. Yep.
How are you?
All right. What's up, Steve? How you doing, my brother?
Wonderful. Good to see you, my man.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Wonderful. Yeah, I like the fact that you brought yourself down in the middle of the camera. Welcome to SKTV.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. It's the way my phone is sitting now, so I gotta switch it around a little bit. Good.
Yes. But welcome to SKTV. I'm not sure if you've been here before. This is your first time.
I think I've been a very long time ago. Yeah, been a long time ago.
Yeah, welcome to SKTV.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know I do have Mr. Mohammed Keita as well, but I'm not seeing his image here. So, Mr. Mohammed Keita, if you're hearing me, can you please turn on your camera so that we can get started? Folks, welcome to today's edition. We have Solomon here who will introduce himself in a little bit. Amara is here. He will introduce himself in a little bit. No, Mr. Mohammed Keita, I know you are sending a message in the chat room there. Can you please, maybe you can go back out and come back in. I was seeing you initially, but I can't see you anymore. So you might be having some connection problems here. We're barely hearing you. I haven't even brought you on the screen because you don't have your, I know you were hearing me, but because you don't have your video on. So let me take you off and then try, please, if you can log back in, that would be great. Log back in, please. So Mr. Keita will log back in. But folks, in the meantime, we're here to talk about ALCOP. It's about ALCOP. It's about Liberia. Like I said, the conversation will get stimulated and very.
We'll get stimulated. Steve, I know you. So be easy on because you guys. I know what party you guys are supporting.
so no, we're not supporting anyone. No, we're not. But we still respect people who have to believe their thoughts that we're supporting someone. You know, we respect that. But you know, okay, very good. Mr. Keita is here. Mr. Keita, how are you? Welcome to SKTV.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you for the opportunity. Waiting for our chairman to log on, Mr. Sako.
What are you doing? Has he logged on yet?
Yeah, but Amara, Mr. Keita, really quick. Is this your first time on SKTV?
Well, yes, actually, this is my first time on SKTV, precisely. But okay. I have been calling in previously as a listener.
Contributor.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, wonderful. Welcome, and it's good to have you on.
Thank you for the privilege.
Yes, sir. We will give a few minutes here before we start because we do have. We're waiting for Chairman Sako.
Yes.
We have Amara already here.
Okay.
We do have I have the listing here with me. Dole.
Yeah, Chairman Dole in Liberia. I think he spoke to Mabel. They are having some
some technical issues.
Weatherization problem.
Yes.
Yeah, so because of that, I don't think he will be able to go into studio.
Yes.
So most important that we're saying the link. Probably he can do this through his regular link.
Sure.
Please. Thank you.
And we're expecting Tuma?
Yeah, we're expecting Tuma, but she's going to be able to do audio. She can't do video because she's in Lofa. So they have their connectivity problem. And I told her that we're going to bring her on.
Yeah, Mr. Keita, you are going in and out. We can't hear you. Folks, we'll reconnect with Mr. Keita here really quick. Mr. Keita, you might want to log back in. Wherever you are, your signal is not too good. Solomon, let's.
Yep.
I think it. I know you are not an official spokesperson for ALCOP, no. but if you don't mind introducing yourself really quick and maybe telling us what your role is in ALCOP really quick, that would help.
All right. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank to SKT TV for having us here. There have been a lot of media biases towards ALCOP. And, we found ourselves in these things, and we are excited to the media that actually invite us to speak about the role that we play and also the role that ALCOP is going to be playing in Liberia coming October 10. It's going to be a surprise. My name is Amara Solomon Kamara. I reside in the state of Minnesota. I am a father of two. My daughter will be graduating from University of San Diego coming in May, and then my son is a freshman at the Winona State University, and I myself graduated from Tulane University, 1998, with a degree in exercise science and sports medicine. I own my own fitness business in Minnesota. As I speak right now, I'm in a facility, as you can see up here, as if refined performance and rehabilitation studio. So I'm in my studio right now, just did some work with some people, and I'm excited to be here. I am a community servant. I work with OLM, Organization of Liberia in Minnesota. I was the chairman of the sporting department, in which area that I was able to organize a Six Nation tournament, the July for July 26th. And I think, after I ended that, we have not seen how organized the Liberian community has been since my departure. It used to be very, very crowded in the early 90s and also the early 2000s. So all these traveling people were doing Minnesota to play soccer tournament. It was under the time that I was chairing those department. And I also work with FEMUSA, and I think I met you at one of the events as well. I've been serving as the coordinator for a lot of the conventions and stuff like that. Now I found myself in politics because, there's no way I could run from here because Lucini F. Kamara not only is the standard bearer, but he's my uncle. So whether I like it or not, I have to participate as a supporter of the party. So in America, I'm the vice chairman for operations for the ALCOP USA.
Okay.
That's the right way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's very good, hearing you and hearing from you here. Yes, we've met, I think, once or twice at FEMUSA conventions. And I want to say thanks to you and the rest of the leadership in FEMUSA for your leadership and what you do for our people. I'd like to jump to Mr. You didn't. So you are just a member in ALCOP and a supporter, right, of ALCOP. Is that what you're saying?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I was not into politics. So, but since Honorable Lucini Kamara happened to be my uncle, people reach out to me to participate, so I have to participate. So right now, I serve as a vice chairman for operations for ALCOP USA. Anything I have to do with the operational thing, like sponsoring and helping with finance and stuff like that. So I chair that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're part of the leadership in the diaspora.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. Let's go to Mr. Keita really quick. Mr. Keita, could you please introduce yourself and let us know what your role is in ALCOP?
Well, Steve, my name is Mohammed Kita. I'm in Staten Island, New York. And my role in ALCOP is coordination and strategic planning for ALCOP. And I'm very enthusiastic to be here. And during the course of our discussion, you'll get to know more about me moving forward. But most importantly, our chairman is supposed to be on, and I want to make sure that if you still have it in the your background.
Yeah, he just logged on. I'm seeing him now. So once you're done, I'll bring him in.
I did not hear you. Can you please repeat?
I said he just logged on. Once you're done, I'll bring him in.
Oh, okay. Yes. So pretty much, as a background, well, I studied cyber intelligence at a graduate level, and I'm a graduate of St. Francis College in Brooklyn, and I used to be a mortgage banker. So it's been quite a journey for me in America. But anyway, our chairman is here now. I don't know how you would like to proceed moving forward. So
yeah, so welcome to you, and thanks for the introduction here, Chairman Sako. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Chairman Sako, welcome to this edition. We're having a conversation with ALCOP Leadership. We want to welcome you.
Thank you so much. I think there's something wrong with my audio. It appears that I'm having some problem with my audio. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm
we can hear you loud and clear though.
yeah, well, from my end, I don't know what's going on. I can't. Okay, all right. You can go ahead. As go ahead. No problem.
So
I
I
think
think
I'm hearing you a little bit. I don't know. I need some volume here.
okay, hold on 1 second. Let me see if there is anything I can do from my end to
Yeah, but if you're on your cell phone and somebody call you, if the person call you on your cell phone, your phone is gonna go mute. So we will hear you, but you will not be able to hear. So that means you gotta go off and come back on. So if I were
So
you,
let me go. Let me go
just
off and come back on. Right.
yeah,
yeah,
most definitely. Let's try that.
yeah. If somebody call
All
you
right.
on a cell phone, it's done that.
Yeah, so the chairman will be back. Both of you, both gentlemen here, Mr. Keita and Amara, seem to have vast experience in leadership from their introduction. Let me just throw this question to both of you, and maybe you can just summarize your answer really quick. Uh, let me start with Mr. Keita. Mr. Keita, the fact that you are a professional here, live in the U.S., I would assume that you have a decent job and you are doing well for yourself, maybe by the grace of God here. Why get involved with Liberian politics?
Well, Steve, we all watch the process, and we most of us are dual citizens. We came to this country due to no fault of our own because of a civil war. We came here, we became educated, we have achieved tremendous academic credential as expert professionals in our various fields. There's a reservoir, a demand for reservoir of talent in Liberia. Liberia is a failing country. We have stand by and watch the process play out. There's so much perils and injuries, economic injury that is going on, and neglect in the process, which I'm going to articulate on later on. So, in my family background as a legacy family, I will tell you a little bit. My mother was an entrepreneur that owned a wholesale retail gas and rice agency in Liberia that supply exclusively wholesale product. And Kono Valley Mketa was also a member of a legacy member of Liberian National Police Force with tremendous national security background with Interpol and all of that. And there is the opportunity and desire to go back to give back to our community. Liberia is becoming a failed state, but moving forward in our discussion, I will be able to further emphasize on the issue. So
Okay.
this is the reason for my desire and my obsession to go back to Liberia.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Really
sir.
quick, really quick before we bring the chairman in, I would like to hear from Mr. Kamara.
Yeah.
Mr. Kamara, if you can just summarize really quick what really got you into this and everything else that you've talked about yourself before we can get to the chairman here really quick.
What got me into supporting ALCOP?
No, what got you to get into the Liberian politics? This thing can be very disrespectful. It can be very honor-minding. It can be very problematic and troubling. Very destabilizing to some extent, whether from a family
I
standpoint.
agree. Well, in short, like I said, Honorable Lucini Kamara is my uncle. Regardless, I had to give him a full support. And so when the ALCO USA leadership reached out to me, and I clearly say I didn't want to participate in any sort of politics, like especially Liberian politics. I didn't want to participate. I've long been away from that and doing community service and doing my business. I want to serve in that area, but I got inspired because I know Honorable Lucini Kamara, and I know the kind of person he is, and having the passion for Liberia and know what the country has gone through so many times, and we're recycling the same leaders, and nothing is being done. Some of them have already served; they've been tested, and we are trying to re-elect them right in our eyes, and we pointed to them to be incapable. But then we're bringing them back on, and knowing that we are educated people, so it kind of like inspired me. Like, okay, I know my uncle. Besides him being my uncle, he's well educated and he's a very honest person. He's a very hard worker. He cares for people. Maybe I should help in this route to be part of the politics, to actually sell him out to people to know who he is. People know me in Minnesota. They know how honest I am, both in my community and outside of my community. People know how well I serve. And so that's my uncle. He's a very well, educated man, went to some of the best institutions in Liberia, and well educated, nurtured, because there's a difference between education and degree holders. Yeah.
I'll get back with you. I'll get
Okay,
back with you because you made a statement here. But let me get to the chairman really quick.
Okay,
you
no
made
problem.
a statement I would like to push back on, but I'll come back with you here.
No problem.
Chairman Sakor.
Hi, how are you? It's a pleasure being here.
Yes, welcome back to the show. If you don't mind, please introduce yourself to us.
My name is Abubakar Sidiki Soko Jr., National Chairman of the All Liberia Coalition Party in the United States, ALCOP USA.
Okay, thank you so much, Chairman Sakor. I do have a question for you, Mr. Chairman Sakor. You said you are the chairman for the USA. My question to you is, when was ALCO founded, and who's the founding father of ALCO?
The All Liberia Coalition Party was founded by the Liberian people during the course of the formation. The person who actually gave birth to the idea was Alhaji G.V. Nkrumah, sometime 1997.
Okay, sometimes in 1997.
Yes.
Founding father for ALCO, you're saying, is
G.V.
Alhaji G.V. Nkrumah. Peace be to his ashes.
Prominent Liberians. Yes.
Wonderful. So to set the stage for this conversation, I want to go back. Let's circle back to Amara. Amara made a statement. In our history in Liberia, there has been the issue of nepotism, tribalism, and so forth in our politics. You've insisted that one of the primary reasons for which you support ALCO is because the current chairman, Honorable Osuni Kamara, is your uncle. You keep saying that.
Yes.
Someone would interpret that as nepotism, tribalism, and so forth. What do you say?
I don't see it as nepotism. Nepotism will be if my uncle get ascended to presidency, which he will, I'm 100% sure, if the Liberian people vote right. And then he's hiring me to be his assistant minister or being one of the ministers to work really close to him, have someone in the department. And if I'm doing wrong and he's not letting me go because I'm his brother and nephew, so that would be nepotism. But supporting your uncle or your father who is running for opposition, then we might as well report to all the American presidents' kids are nepotism because they support their father. So I don't think that's nepotism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let me circle back to the chairman really quick, and then I'll come back to Mr. Keita here because, Mr. Chairman, ALCO ran in the election in 1997, and I stand to be corrected. ALCO, very influential, very forceful, I would use the word, in 1997 in the elections. ALCO made huge headways and so forth. Most recently, we've been hearing this saying from ALCO or from some Liberians who support ALCO as ALCO is rebranding. What does that mean?
Thank you very much. Those are the kind of questions that we've expected our host to answer, and those questions have been listened into the midst. Rebranding is when you have an establishment, and the establishment means some changes after having been in the system for a while. As time go on, in order to meet with the reality of the current political situation, so you try to see if you can change policies, work on constitutions, so that you can be up to date with the current reality of the political situation. So we thought it was better after being formed in 1997. Throughout the years, we have our people, those who led, the party. Many of them have passed away. People coming in now. You got new generations coming in, new minds, people of different orienting views. So you have to recalibrate the party to meet up with the reality of this current political situation. That is why we thought it wise. We visited the policies, we visited the constitution, we visited all other issues that we thought were necessary to bring our party up to date. So the word, a rebranding is what we're talking about. When you have a brand, and at some point it needs changes. You have the car, you buy new. Sometimes there are problems with it. You go and you try to bring it up to date. The car is old, 1997. People are driving 1997 cars today. They are doing a lot of changes on it. They recalibrate it. So in a political sense, we have to bring the party up to date to bring it up to the level of the current reality of the political dispensation of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for answering this question. I'll come back to you, but I'll come back to you, Chairman. But I'd like to ask. Let me use the word security question to Mr. Keita. Mr. Keita, as of today, sometimes yesterday, there seemed to be this issue coming from the Unity Party of saying that the elections wouldn't be credible, and some Liberian would term it as they're beating war drums. Yesterday, I pulled up the courts, but just as of yesterday, and I'll pull it up here while you were answering this question. Just yesterday, former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai also gave into that and alluded to that to some extent. What do you say from a security standpoint? What does it say globally and locally?
Well, Steve, that's a very excellent question. But what I would like to ask, if you can give me the privilege, I just want to give you 10 minutes abstract on what ALCO is and what opposition is. And this will allow us to be able to engage in a very interesting conversation. And I'll also conclude and answer your question if you can allow me to do that. And can I?
Say, I didn't hear the last part of your statement.
Well, I would like to first ask for 11 minutes of a abstract on what ALCO is and what our mission is and what we intend to do so you can understand. And then at the closing of my abstract, I will be able to answer your question. Can I do that?
Unfortunately, we will not be able to do that. The direct question I was asking you from a security.
Okay, let me answer your question. Since you want me to answer your question, well,
yes.
Election. Everyone wants to see an election. You see, physical threat in election is a satisfied act of terrorism, and it's very concerning. And this is something that we try to shy away from. There is something called, I think, the Farmington Convention. All political parties were signatory to that process, asserting their support explicitly for a free and fair election. But I'll tell you this, you see, Steve, ALCO, the All Liberian Coalition Party, is concerned about what Liberia need as the first democratic country in Africa to mitigate current problems of diminishing national security. And we have public safety problem, we have severe drugs, we have pandemic, we have high crimes, we have severe corruption, we have ritualistic killing, we have human sacrifice, and we have homosexuality, which is immoral and unethical, the loss of our cultural power and religious value, and with these missing and absence of proper elements and mechanism of trusted tenant of expert professional law enforcement and mental leadership, setting goals and orienting agenda, we are having problem. As a reflection point, for example, Prince Johnson bullied a lot of the opposition, and we've seen it for ourselves. He has stuck most of the opposition. This guy has a history of killing two presidents, one in Burkina Faso and one in Liberia. We all were under the impression, given the privilege of the second chance by Liberia to become a senator, he would have been rehabilitated to understand the danger of instability. And I'll tell you this: we support free and fair election. Our position is clear, and people are watching. The eyes of the eagles are on Liberia. So I will climax here for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
So I'll come back to Amar to Amar, but let me go back to the chairman because I want the position of the chairman based on what you just said. I want the position of ALCO. I asked you this question as Mr. Keita as an expert, in the field of security and so forth. But let me go for the party's position. This is what Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai said today on the campaign. This is the headline. Let me quote him quickly here as to what he said. Give me a second. Quote: "If they steal the election, this would be the end of this country." But this is what he said today. But before he said this today, this is what his key supporter says or said before he made this statement in person of Prince Johnson, Senator Prince Johnson, who was mentioned earlier. Senator Prince Johnson, who started off by alarming the issue of war or threat of revolution. This is what Senator Prince Johnson said about 4 days ago. Senator Prince Johnson is, he threatens armed revolution should the October 10th election be rigged. Now, Chairman Sakor, what is ALCO's position on these statements? And the second part of this question also, I want you to take into consideration is, when we get there, I will ask you, but what is ALCO's position, first of all? Let's hear ALCO's position.
ALCO, first of all, is a very peaceful political party. What we expect is that integrity be seen in the electoral process of Liberia. We want to to the Liberian Constitution. And we want the Election Commission to conduct itself in accordance with the rules and regulations governing the electoral process and public elections. Anything short of that is a recipe for problems, and we do not foresee any problem. What I would like to also say here is that I don't want people to begin, I don't know what they have said, I don't want people to start playing victim when we already have election observers. The international community observers that are also that the electoral process is free and fair. So at this time, I think it would be a bit premature to just come up to say election going to be rigged.
So Chairman, really quick, do you have a headphone or something that you can put, because you're coming in not too clear?
Oh, yeah, I really don't have a headphone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, then keep the phone close to you like you are doing now, because then we can hear you.
So if you can't hear me too clearly, I can say what I just said.
Yes, it's much better now. Repeat yourself, please.
Yeah, ALCO is a very peaceful party, political party. All that we expect from this election, this 2023 election, is that the Election Commission conduct itself in accordance with the Liberian Constitution and in accordance with the electoral laws of the country. Once that is done, then there will be no reason for anyone to come out to say the election was not free and fair. And also, there are international observers that are going to be in the country. Those are people of integrity. They understand what has happened throughout the years in Liberia, not only in Liberia, in Africa, with respect to election integrities. So at this time, all that we want our people to do, just continue to carry on your campaign, but to come out at this time of the process to say you foresee a problem, I don't think it is a bit premature to me. But I think that anything short of free and fair election on the part, conducting a free and fair election on the part of the National Election Commission will bring problem, and they already understand that. So I am very confident that the National Election Commission and the international observers are going to conduct themselves in accordance with international law, in accordance with the Constitution of Liberia, and in accordance with the order and procedure of the Elections Commission.
Okay, thank you so much. In accordance with the order and procedure of the Elections Commission, let me ask you this question. What is ALCOP's position on War and Economic Crimes Court? Considering ALCOP has a stigma of the founding father also being part of the war in Liberia. So what is ALCOP's position on the issue of War and Economic Crimes Court on the people of Liberia?
All right. Thank you very much. War and Economic Crime Court. Listen, my brother. There is nobody who is free from problem in Liberia. Everyone in that country, ranging from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to Prince Johnson to all of the participants of today's political activities in Liberia. Everybody. My mother is a fellow woman. The next mother is a Gio woman. Somebody's uncle is a. Everybody, in one way or the other, is involved into this process. So what ALCOP is thinking is that what happened in the past? Because if we want to perpetuate the peace and democracy that we are enjoying now, then we have to let go what happened, what transpired in the past, because nobody is free. During the TRC report, during the TRC process, everyone that came on asked one way or the other for apology for what they did. I think we have to follow that now, because anything short of that will create problems. So the War and Economic Crime Court, I think the process is something that we all need to just look at it, whatever happened, because what people are talking about now is to come and try to hold other people accountable for what they did. You are not free. I am not free. Your father, some way or the other, is connected. Everybody, the young generation now, everybody, I would say, is involved in the process. So I would think that the War and Economic Crime Court, let us take it easy so that we cannot try to give rebirth to some kind of, a gaping wounds, that will create give our country another problem.
So let me push back really quick, Chairman, before we go to Mr. Kamara here. Let me push back really quick. Not everybody in Liberia is implicated in the war. I am not implicated in the war. My father is not implicated in the war. My mother is not implicated in the war. I am not. So generalizing that statement made it seem as though everyone is part of the war, so we should just let it go. I'm asking for the position of ALCOP. What is the position of ALCOP? So is ALCOP saying, let's just forget about the whole War and Economic Crime Court and move forward? Is that ALCOP's position?
You cannot say, like, they're on the economic side. All those, what we want is economic discipline is very important. So, my brother, you cannot just let people off with impunity. You cannot do that. But anything, the law should take its course, according to the demands of international community and all of that. The law must take its course. But in a situation where people want vengeance, this man killed my father, I want him to, him to be killed. He killed my father, I want him to go to the Hague. He killed my father, I want this to happen. I would see that as a rebirth of problem, because even you just told me that your mother was not involved. Your friend is. What if don't you have any friend in the country whom you are connected to? What if they are also implicated in the war? What would you say? And there comes a time where they are all held liable, and they are supposed to be facing the common terms of their action.
Thank you so much, Chairman. For the record, if there is any friend of mine, any family member who was involved in the war, please prosecute them. Please go for them, for the record. I want to be on the record on that. But let's come to Mr. Kamara really quick. Mr. Kamara, you have done lots of community work in the United States. You do have your chairman here with us today, and as evidenced by that, I've seen your work. I've seen your work. I've seen things that you've done. I see things that you continue to do, whether on a FEMUSA level, at the FEMUSA level, or at the community in Minnesota level. You've been in our community here in Arizona, offer free services, work with us here as well, more than once. I can attest to that. What do you say to someone who says, we get Mr. Kamara on ALCO, but we're not hearing about ALCO in America? What is going on? So their whole community service, they're not restricted. What do you say?
That's what I said from the beginning, that there have been a lot of media biases. ALCO have been in America, has been existing, and we have been doing things in the community. Several fundraising, but this goes back to what we Liberian call. I don't like to, when I talk, I don't like to involve in tribalism and all kind of stuff like, because I feel like Liberia has moved a little bit forward to move that now. Most of the educated people they move away from that. But you still have some kind of I don't know what it is, some kind of a stigmatizations that, ALCO is a non-factor. Because the fact that people look at ALCO to be non-factor, so they don't pay much attention to our gathering and things that we're doing. But I would definitely say it has nothing to do with tribal. I think we have moved beyond that. But it has a lot to do with people thinking ALCO is a non-factor. The way I thought about that is I reached out to several friends about ALCO here, and they laugh. And they say, oh, man, look, forget about that thing. ALCO is non-factor in this thing. Don't tire yourself. And so if one or two person thinking that way, I feel like there's a lot more people out there thinking that way. So that's the reason why it hasn't looked like we are present in the United States, because it's not relevant to people. It's three-party. We are Cummins and how they call it, JB. So that's what people are more focused on. And so they forget about the rest of the party, but until October, this going October 10, when ALCO made a comeback, and then people are like, oh, hold a minute, there's something here, and then we started getting attention from friends, media, want to interview us, because they saw the crowd and they saw the momentum and they heard the message very, very clear. Let me just say so. ALCO is one of those that have a manifesto. They put that manifesto out there, but a lot of people don't even know. We have a manifesto just as JNB did. So we've been out for a long time preaching this message, but I'm glad that you asked that question so people understand the reason why we have not been out is because people thought we were non-factor. And so they were not interested in listening to it, but it's been out there.
Okay, thank you so much. ALCO has been out. Let me come to Mr. Keita really quick here, because let me see, Mr. Keita. We can't hear you, Mr. Keita. I think you're about to say something. We can't hear you. We're not hearing you, Mr. Keita. Yeah. Do you mind going back and coming back in, because we can't hear you? Something is wrong with your audio. Okay, Mr. Keita will be back. Let me come back to the chairman really quick. Chairman, I want to clarify this, and I want us to clarify this before we move on to the next question. Does ALCO support one economic crimes code in Liberia or not? We can hear you. Can you closer to you, please? Yes.
ALCOP is support anything that has to promote peace. If the War and Economic Crime Court would create problem in the Republic of Liberia, then ALCO does not support it. But if it is going to be dealt with in a situation where the Liberian people will be convinced that this is what they want, that when it happens, is what they want, then of course we can go with it. But as it stands, almost everyone that I've spoken to during my tenure as the chairman are saying that let bygone be bygone, and let's move on.
Okay, so you're saying ALCO's position on the Economic Crimes Code is let bygone be bygone. Let's move on.
Can I step in, sir?
Yeah, you're coming. let me hear from the chairman, please. Okay, chairman, thank you so much. Mr. Keita just rejoined us.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you much better
Okay,
now.
great,
Mr.
excellent.
Keita, just before you contribute to that question or whatever you wanted to say, let me just pose the direct question to you. We do have security threats in the region, such as from the French-speaking countries, especially the sub-region, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Guinea most recently has some coup going on. What say you from an ALCO administration? How does ALCO prevent a coup? What do you say?
Well, I'll tell you, Steve. ALCO shy away from anything that has to do with coup in Liberia. We all understand the political audacity and the stigma that comes along with the current civil war we came from. But I will tell you this: what is missing in the absence of proper element and mechanism of trusted of expert professional law enforcement in Liberia, mental leadership, and setting goal-oriented agendas quarterly concerning a substantial issue in Liberia. We have unresolved issue. We all know that. You see, I would like to reflect on your previous question. You asked the chairman about the possibility of having a war crime code and an economic crime code in Liberia.
Mhm.
You see, war crime code doesn't bring any benefit or economic benefit now to Liberia. What it does, it opens up wounds. This is what we're going to shy away from. And the benefit of having an economic crime code, I will tell you this. This is very important, Steve. You see, no country can function if you do not have economic stability. We all see the problem in Liberia currently. I could recommend a specific provision as an executive order to be issued if we win the election by our president to revamp the government to promote liberal image with coherent decision to avoid risk, vulnerability, threat with consequence. You see, under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, before her departure, $1.6 billion US got missing. Her son was accused, allegedly, $500 million were missing. You take a look at Liberia, you compare and contrast Liberia with Rwanda. Both countries went through civil war. They suffered economic injury, and they all went through what? Human suffering, and there were massive death due to the audacity of war. Now, can you bring back those life that you have lost? No. So, war crime code is not a necessity at this time. What is a necessity? It's an economic crime code. And what economic crime code going to do for Liberia? It will help us recover money that have been stolen through corruption, with willful and reckless neglect. The lack of organizational compliance in place to conduct quarterly review of how Liberian money is being spent. You watch massive embezzlement. These issues are very serious concern issues that have been neglected, and I think it is time. It is a necessity. If we need to save Liberia, economic crime code will be a necessity as a comparison in contrast to war crime.
Okay. So you are saying ALCO would go more towards economic crimes court as opposed to war crimes court.
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your statement there on that, and thank you also for answering the question previously. Let's move on just a little bit. Let me go to the chairman really quick, and I'll come to Mr. Kamara there. Chairman, over the past few elections, and let me stand to be corrected here, especially in the 2017 most recent elections, presidential elections. ALCO seemed to have supported President George Weah in the second round. Is that correct?
Yes.
ALCO did support President George Weah in the second round. Would ALCO support President George Weah should there be a second round with President George Weah in the second round?
That is a question. ALCOP is not a, a party that is just going to be in the second round. I wish you had said, you know, the other party will be going for, but ALCOP is always in it to win. And I think we coming first is something that I am very confident is going to happen in this election. But on that note, we are going to balance. We are going to see which one of the parties is in our interest. Should that be the case? But as far as I'm concerned, we are not going to go to the point where we have to join somebody. But we're going to be in the position of advantage where people are going to join us. But should that be the case, we are looking at the strategic part of the situation. Let's look at it this way. If JMB, for example, and George Manuel Weah were to, be the first two, and then ALCOP was to find somewhere to go, we're looking at anybody that is going to give us. It depends on the benefits that we are going to get from either side. Let's say, for example, George Weah gave us 25 slots, or assistant ministry here, assistant ministry there and here. And JMB gave us only 8 slots, Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Finance, all those strategic ministry. 5 of that versus 25, local little, assistant ministry. We look at this, the one that is in the best interest of ALCOP, and we'll go with it. So this time we'll go with the lesser but most strategic one.
Okay. So yes. Yes, thank you. I got you very loud and clear. Let me move this question around because I'd love to hear from both Mr. Kamara and Mr. Keita. Let's go to Mr. Kamara really quick, and we'll come back to Mr. Keita. Mr. Kamara, what say you about a runoff? ALCOP supported President George Weah in 2017 in a runoff. What say you in a runoff wherein, hypothetically, ALCOP does not make it to the runoff? What do you say?
You mean if ALCOP becomes third? That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, who do they support in the runoff? Do they support CDC again or go?
In this particular, well, let me just say this. We are representative of ALCOP USA, and some of our responsibility is to galvanize the people in the diaspora here, to raise funds, and to also look into Liberia and talk to our friends to support ALCOP and give certain reason. Now, when it comes to some kind of some political questioning in terms of who the party goes to, I will leave that with the party chairman and standard bearer to make that decision. That decision is now with us to actually, give you that right here to say, okay, this is who ALCOP will support. I'm not in the right position to answer that, and I don't think any of my co-members here are in the right position to answer that. We will wait for that time when the time comes. But I am 100% sure that ALCOP might be in first place. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamara. Let's hear from Mr. Keita. Mr. Keita, what do you say about this question?
Well, I'll tell you this. What is important here is ALCOP is in a position of strength. ALCOP has the momentum. They have the enthusiasm. They have the crowd. I want you to understand this, Steve. UP is a combination of almost 3 to 5 parties. CDC also, likewise, is a combination of multiple parties. You saw the momentum of what you saw on September 10th, last week, Sunday. We are a force to reckon with. We haven't included coalitions yet. Yes, still, you see the numbers. Opposition are threatened by our existence. We are leading from a superlative position as a monopoly. Think about coalition. You see, I will deflect, and dodge this question for now. Like Amala indicated, along my chairman, we are all in motion for coalition. We are not obsessed with power. We believe in a government of inclusion. ALCO decided to rebrand itself to attract reservoir of talents to create what we call voters obsession. The obsession has been established. Last week Sunday, you saw the crowd. We presented our candidates. You saw them. Uh, we gave you a situation whereas we don't have internal grievances. We are fully resolved with our internal conflict, and we are ready to form coalition in good faith. But I'll tell you this, as I indicated, I will dodge, deflect, and defer the question when the time is right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Keita. Well,
You're welcome, sir.
you and Mr. Kamara here saying that you're not politicians, but you are answering like politicians. But let's move forward. Because the question, the conversation is getting quite interesting here. Most recently, one of the candidates, April 25th of this year, not too long ago, it might seem like it was long, but not too long ago, in person of Tiawan Gonglo, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo did say that he would recognize a national, as president, holiday for the Muslims, which is Ramadan. Few months back, before he made this statement, there were some pastors and some men of God that went up to the hill when it was presented the issue of Ramadan or national holiday for the Muslim community. It was presented out there, and few men of God said that would bring war to the country. Under an ALCO's administration, would you recognize Muslim holiday? If so, what holiday would that be? Mr. Chairman, or any one of you, Mr. Chairman especially.
Well, Mr. Chairman, you want me to get in? Let me get in on it. You can close on it.
All right.
Okay, that's a very interesting question, Steve. You see, I'm happy that you asked this question. You see, what is important here is ALCO is a coalition rebranded and have created voter obsession of attracting reservoir of talent, meaning coalitions of talented Liberians. Okay? We believe in the input and export of what? Talent into Liberia. Hear me out. This is our strategy. Our presidential candidate is what? A Muslim. Honorable Lusane Kamara is a Muslim. Our vice president is a Christian. Right? Our intent is to unify Liberia, to remove the perils of religious division. And I'll tell you this, we have two major religious holidays for Muslim. One is Ramadan and one is the Feast of Abraham. There's a synopsis between these two religions. And they both worship the same God. And to answer your question, I would like the chairman to close on that. Please. Thank you.
Chairman, let's hear from you. What's ALCO's position? Do you get towards Muslim holiday, regardless of the fact that ALCO does have a balance in leadership of Christian and Muslim running the ticket? Do you?
In order to do that, the House will have to meet and decide, right? You can't just come and say you want it. You'll have to go to the House, and people are going to have to vote on it. But our Liberia is not a Christian state, right? No, you said Christians went somewhere and say it's going to create a problem. I don't think we under our leadership this is going to happen. We are only asking the Liberian people that we understand in Liberia that Liberia is not a Christian state; it's a secular state. It belongs to everybody. So if we must live in harmony and peace, then we have to be able to accommodate. These things are not happening. As Liberia progresses, I think we have to encourage the aspect of living side by side to enjoy the new democracy that is the bright future of our country. So I will leave this to the House, and they are going to. That is why we want to have as many people as possible in the House of Representatives so that they can make a decision that is in the best interest of the Liberian people. That means religious organizations, religious institutions should live or coexist and live side by side.
Okay, speaking of the legislature, that would you think? I'm glad that you.
If you don't mind, can I just add one sentence to that?
Please go for it.
Please, you see, Liberia, we have to have something we call religious tolerance and acceptance to enjoy peace in Liberia. You see, I'm a Muslim, but I have friends who are Christians, and I have family members who are Christians. Matter of fact, I want to name him. His name is Mamadi Dumba. He has one of the biggest churches in Liberia. You see, there's an orientation of views on religion. The orientation of view on religion here is they all believe in what? We all believe in one God. And there's also the synopsis of acceptance of prophets in both religions that exists. You see, Islam is a religion of peace. Christianity is a religion of peace. And to conclude, I just want people to understand that the ALCOP is a political party that believes in religious tolerance and acceptance for all Liberians. We all celebrate on Christmas Day when you have Christmas Day. And Christmas Day in Liberia is being accepted as a national holiday. It depends what day it falls on. If it's on Monday, everything will stay closed. We just want to have a tolerance, accommodations for both religions in Liberia so we can live side by side to enjoy Liberia in a peaceful way.
Okay, so we can live side by side in a peaceful way. I want to get to the issue of the legislature because, like the chairman said, that's critically important for the agenda of any president. You know, it could stall the agenda of that presidency or that administration, or it could move forward depending on the administration you have and the relationship as well with, the legislature. So, owing to that, my next question would be, how many legislative candidates does ALCOP have currently, or are ready to go on ALCOP's ticket, and how many of those candidates are ALCOP optimistic about that they would win or be seated?
I think we have about, roughly speaking, I can't exactly point my hand to the number. I think we have over nine positions that our people are contesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are optimistic about all of them, given the euphoria of the party right now. You see, we were categorized as the underdog here coming into this election, into these elections. Several months back, actually on November 21st, when we pulled the crowd, they told us that, we inputted people from here and there. We couldn't do it again. Then we came on September 10th. We have just proven to have, the political potency to garner support where we can win elections in Liberia. And I am particularly optimistic that indeed we are going to win this time. So all of our people that are contesting for the legislative positions in the country, all of those who are contesting have, the strength. They do have the strength, they have the population, and we are optimistic that all of them are going to make it through. I'm saying
can I add to that, Steve?
Yeah, I'm saying this because of the meetings that we usually have and the chances that we have been able to see on our side and the level of support.
Thank you, Chairman. Let's go to Mr. Kamara really quick, and then we'll get to the next question. Mr. Kamara, what's the...
Yeah, well, I just wanted to add to what the chairman was saying. The candidacy in Liberia is growing, and people are getting interested. A lot of people are coming forward to participate, to become. I'm running for this party. I'm running for this party. What the chairman said, 9. That's what we that's what the number previously, but it has grown. Right now we have a 32 candidate within ALCOP that is running. And I'm gonna tell you this: 1997, when a GV Cromar did the run, the ALCOP won 4.02% of the voting, gaining 3 of the 64 seats in the House.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gained 2 of the 26 seats as a Senate.
Right.
You know, so ALCOP is there along. But like I said, it has always been a non-factor to Liberian. And if they are not paying attention, it's going to be a threat, and they're not paying attention to it. The number has grown because ALCOP is coming with 2 major votes. And I want to tell people that they are coming with the Muslim vote and they are coming with the Mandingo vote. Because Liberia, when you talk about Muslim, they think it's Mandingo. And that's why that name Mandingo has been stigmatized to a religion. And there are so many like Mandingos that are Christian. I have half of my family that are Christians. Half of my family are Christians. And they are Mandingo and they are Kamaras. All right. So Mandingo-ness doesn't mean Islamicness. It's not what created Islam. So they are Mandingo, they are Muslim, they are Va, they are Crown. In fact, the head of the Muslim, the Islamic in Liberia right now, is a Crown man called Imam Krahi. He's the head of Islam in Liberia. And we have Gola, we have Bandi, you know, we have all of these people put together at Mandingo, and they are coming in numbers. So this is why the Liberian people are forgetting. They are only looking at the Mandingo, but they are forgetting that the Muslim vote is coming. And where the Muslim voters are coming for, because Muslims in Liberia have been looked at to be nothing. Now we mentioned about this, the holiday, Muslim holiday. ALCOP is not coming to run for presidency. Okay, we're gonna go there and we're gonna put Islamic rules in the city. No, Liberia says it was built on the Christian principles. And when you look at Christian principles, part of the Christian principle, because I went to Christian school and I did Bible studies, you know, I went to Catholic school. Part of the Christian principle is to respect other people's religion, to allow other religion to be part of this settlement. That is a Christian principle. All right. Now, the one difference I posted on, no, Muslim can be this and that. That is based on individual lack of understanding of what Christianity is. You know, and it's the same thing when you come to America here. America is a secular state, but there's no national holiday for Muslim. However, people are now starting to see that at every job in Liberia, when there is an end of a Ramadan, they give off to all the Muslim people. And certain states started to implement a specific holiday for Muslim. And when you go to Guinea, they set up they have a national holiday for Christmas and also Islam. And so Liberia is moving towards that area. So I don't want people to look at it as, oh, the Mandingo people want to come into power, they want to put this into power. It got to go through legislature, it got to go through all those things. But we would like for it to be, for all to be recognized. So
thank you so much, Mr. Kamara. Let me just before I go to the because you've tilted us into another side of the questioning here that someone would argue and say that the Muslim community has not, or the Mandingo community, let me use the word Muslim community, use your word, has not been able to prioritize itself, considering almost all of the times that the Muslims, our Muslim brothers and sisters, mothers and father had to go for the prayer in Makkah. There's always been some kind of yo-yo, honor mining, noise, however you want to term it. It really does not go smoothly as it should be, because it's a religious joining that should be celebrated, respected, and honored. So some have attributed this to the current government that ALCOP supported, which is a CDC-led government brought to power, but also some have attributed this also to the leadership of the Muslim community. What does Losani Kamara administration say about this holiday, the pilgrimage going to Makkah? How do you address this? to bring settlement and sense to it, that it doesn't end up in Euro and NOS like the way it has been. What do you say?
Are you talking about the recent
No,
crisis?
no. I'm talking about the crisis in general. And I'd like Gator to address this.
Okay, let me address this question. Steve, it's a very interesting question because you know what? I think it's a concerning issue. You indicated that ALCOP supported CDC. CDC government is not in place. And,
yes.
We have this dispute and disagreement on how pilgrimage should be handled. You see, I'll go back into history. It's good to understand the genesis of some of these process that was in place. Historically, there was a process in place whereas the pilgrimage was conducted where there was no governmental engagement and influence. Previously, in the past, as we understood, as a process, and you should know a little bit, maybe your grandmother, I learned your history a little bit. Your grandmother happens to be a Muslim, right?
Sure.
So you come from two backgrounds, a synopsis of background, and you can see the value in you, and you respect and accommodate both religion. You see, when you reflect on the regime of CDC, you see the current internal affairs minister engaged himself in a process that was mutually left exclusively to religious leader or to tribal leader to arrange with a consortiumship how pilgrimage was conducted without any problem previously. But once you had a political inclusion or influence in the process, you know what happened? It brought in chaos because Liberian government has never participated directly on instructing the different consortiumships in the process when it comes to pilgrimage. And I'll tell you this, as an advice, whoever is president, you see, there's something called power of the pen. People don't understand that. There is something called executive or privilege provision that the president can mandate to resolve this issue. You see, when you have a leadership in place who do not look at the sensitivity of the issue and the right compliance process or conforming process in resolving these issues, it becomes a problem because people in the government want the political size is for their own benefit. But I will tell you this conclusively: this religious issue has no bounding on ALCOP political position or political intent. ALCOP is a political party of coalitions that want to have a government in place that will set standards and procedure and compliance that has to be followed. And pilgrimage is a religious issue. Christian goes to the Vatican. It has nothing to do with the political venue of Liberia. So basically, it's non-political issue. I think those are people or religious or grievances that is non-political and has no binding on ALCOP political intent.
Okay, so that means you're saying, in essence, that nothing will be done about this to ensure that if Olusegun Kamara's administration is leading Liberia to address.
No, let me come in too.
Let me answer that, please. 1 second. No, I did not say that. What I meant to say was that it's important conclusively to answer your question. I know the answer you want. To answer your question, there will be a specific provision in place and the executive order to address the issue and to resolve it forever, because right now it's unresolved.
Sure. Okay, thank you so much. Chairman, unless you wanted to add something, I'd like to move on to the next. Is that something you wanted to add?
Add up to that. From time to time, the issue of pilgrimage in Liberia has been handled not by government. It has been handled by private organizations in the country. Okay, we just need to ensure that under ALCOP, we will ensure that, you know, the way things were run in the past, where government had no hand or no part to play in the private in the issue, and then it went smoothly. That is the same formula we are going to follow. Let the people who handle it in the past, where they handle it to the point of no problem, no conflict, we let them handle it. It has been that way. So that's the same formula we are going to follow, or to take the government hands out completely, unless if it is necessary, you know.
Okay, to take the government hands off completely, unless it is necessary. Chairman, let me just ask a question. Maybe you guys can help me out with this. You guys can help me out. Currently, how much how many legislature does ALCO have in the House or in the Senate?
Currently, we have none.
Okay. So
Yeah.
ALCO is represented at the national level from what you're saying.
In the House, we have none.
In both houses.
In both houses, we have none.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So then let's move fast forward just a little bit. Look, we've heard lots of different things about politicians saying they will better the life of Liberia, they will change this, they will change that, they will do this, they will do this. Can you please summarize, maybe for the next 1 or 2 minutes, what does ALCO bring to the table?
Mr. Chairman, can I take that and then you can come out with a Q&A, you Amara?
I mean, no problem. Go ahead.
All right. And Steve, you see, that's a very interesting question. I'll tell you this. Okay. I'm going to be very brief. ALCO is a political party. It's all Liberian coalition party concerned about what Liberia needs as a first democratic country in Africa to mitigate current problem of our diminishing national security, public safety, severe drugs pandemic, high crime, severe corruption, ritualistic killing, homosexuality of immoral and unethical behavior, whereas we are losing our cultural value. Now, we also, what ALCO have done currently to rebrand itself. I'll tell you this. ALCO is a force of like-minded coalition of a legacy expert professional with aligned interests that have decided to bring light on current problem in Liberia and hold people feet to the fire as identified with a cloud of mischief. And this is what ALCO intend to do. I'm going to be very brief because he gave us 2 minutes. Okay. National security and public safety is a concern. ALCO is blessed with the support of Gordon Valley M. Keita, a legacy expert professional in public safety, drugs pandemic, high crime, terrorism, policing, community policing, national security, criminal investigation, Interpols, and some FBI affairs as a legacy impact and capability with relevancy that Liberia enjoy for a while under our current regime and as a neglect. His legacy was neglected. This is an individual who crafted and drafted the national security and policing provision under the interim government that was also adopted by early Justice Salif government that they neglected when CDC took over. We all see what is happening to Liberia now. We have major drug pandemic. We have high crime. We have public health concern. We have economic injuries. Okay, Ms. Valley M. Keita, as I indicated, will put in the plans that will resolve these unresolved issues. You see, he has achieved training in Canada and in the USA. He also trained the current head of immigration in Liberia, Mr. Robert Bullitt. And I don't have all the time to go on. I'm trying to streamline what I can say that will attract the attention of Liberia. And I think the name Quantum Valley M. Keita ring a lot of bell in Liberia when it comes to policing and national security. He is one of the best and the funniest in Liberia or Liberia have ever produced, and has put his blessing behind ALCO. And secondly, I'm going to name Sam Mohammed Krumah, the ex-president of EULA. This individual controls, during his tenureship at the U.S. government in the Department of Social Services, 22 counties. He understands the social issues of Liberia. He has blessed ALCO as an expert professional who's willing to come on board to help resolve what? The unresolved issue of social problem when it comes to public safety, women health,
Okay.
children health. These are concerned issues. And thirdly, the Honorable Lieutenant Kamara, our presidential candidate, owns an insurance company in Liberia called Assiso, which is comparable to State Farm Insurance or Allstate Insurance in America as a private employer. And in addition, our vice presidential candidate, Mr. Zablo, is a professor of mathematics at the University of Liberia. What does that tell you about ALCOP mindset? Our intent is to solve the unresolved issue of Liberia that has been neglected. We are bringing together expert professionals from different backgrounds who are credible, in integrity, with confidence, and are available to help resolve the unresolved issue of Liberia. You see for yourself, Liberia is a failing state. There's a drug pandemic. You have over 1,000 ghettos in Liberia. You take a look at Liberia. The NGO came down after the Civil War. They received 3 times, allegedly, in funding compared to Rwanda. But see the transformation in Rwanda. What do we have to show for in Liberia? A failed state and over what? 1,000 ghettos created for what? Zogos. And these are people that should have been rehabilitated by the JNB, UP government, but they squander our resources. And ALCOP is trying to fill this vacuum to resolve the problem. We are a failing country. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much. Chairman, you wanted to ask something really quick, and then I want to move forward to the next question on something very important here that we need to get into, all of us. What does ALCOP bring to the table? Let's try to make this concise as much as we can. What does ALCOP bring to the table?
ALCOP brings to the table, professionals who are going to transform the country. One, you look at the agricultural sector, it's very poor. Liberia has to now depend on Guinea for little crops to come into the country. There's no role, even if you're old, lady during the 80s and end of 90s, our old folks used to invest into agriculture. They will have the time to travel to Monrovia in different part of the counties and sell their crops and other things. Today, it is very difficult for our people to get anywhere to even sell their food stuff. That's one. ALCOP is on if we should have taken power. ALCOP is going to engage in the improvement of agriculture. The improvement first, the road has to be improved. Road connectivity is a problem, and that is why our people are suffering to improve agriculture in the country. Number two, electricity issue. There's a serious electricity issue. If the people must go about their normal businesses, there has to be sufficient electricity. How is it that from the day of Ellen Johnson said it up until now, those issues have not been improved to the standard? Water, running water, safe running water. That's a problem. How is it that people, you will see that when somebody leaves government, they are exiting with millions of dollars individually, earned from government corpus, individually earned. How is it that they are able to walk away with that? But what has to do with the national issue of the country, such as water, electricity, agriculture, or say healthcare delivery system is not there. That's the problem. So those are the kind of issues that we in ALCOP have realized and thought it wise that during our time, we are going to hold officials accountable. We are going to hold officials accountable, and we are going to instill the administrative discipline necessary to be able to sustain that. You see, so that is why we are coming in. So those issues that I've just outlined are issues that are very serious in the country that needs to be taken care of. Liberians right now, they don't even care about driving cars and here. Just make us give them the basic life necessity.
safe drinking water, good healthcare delivery system, the infant mortality rate, try to mitigate that. Those are issues. And since we brag about, Liberia is changing, I'm not doubting that Liberia is not changing, but those basic necessities, the human condition, that is needed in the country has not developed to the way the international community wants it to be, despite the fact that they have pumped this money into the country for these things to be taken care of. They are not taking care of that. You see that when one government official leaves the country, they're living with millions of dollars. They are rich. Why? So that is the kind of discipline we are trying to instill in Liberia. So when we start taking power, those are the things that you will see that we will tackle. Easy for them.
Steve, can I add to that?
So before you add to that, because the Honorable Lieutenant Camara is not a stranger to the Liberian politics. As a matter of fact, he's been around. As part of his records, he served as the Speaker for the House of Representatives in 1997.
Yeah.
Let's move fast forward. He also is a former Commerce Minister. Not only that, he also served as Finance Minister of Judy Bryant's regime, which is also considered one of the corrupt regimes. So my question to you and the rest of the team here is, how safe are Liberians amidst the issue of corruption that is happening in the country, that Lieutenant Camara, who's worked under all of these corrupt administrations or had these links and connections, like former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai, how safe are Liberians to say this will not be repeated? He will not enable corruption. He will not aid and abet corruption. What do you say?
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, Mr. Chairman, you can go ahead and speak, but I wanted that question to be direct. But Mr. Kamara will add to. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
I will add after that.
Yeah, I have an answer for that. There you go. Go ahead. Who are you addressing this question to? You said you wanted who to answer it.
I will add to it. I
wanted the nephew to address this question.
Go ahead. When you finish, I'll add to it. I wanted to come in. Well, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Steve. First of all, I want to say this to the Liberian people. A little is known about Honorable Camara, to be honest, because he was a quiet politician, and he is a veteran Liberian politician, and also a skillful and visionary entrepreneur since 1980 of his own. All right. He attended, let me just give a little bio before I go there, very, very short. He attended the Nathaniel B. Massaquoi Elementary School in Banga, graduated, went to the William V.S. Tubman Banga Methodist, where he did his junior high, and then went to Lutheran Training Institute in Sala Ilofa County, where he graduated and partially attended Continental University College, partially, and then went to University of Liberia and graduated in 1980 in BSc in economics. So that is just a little bit. And after that, his very first job was to lay out a foundation for the Liberia Credit Union, where he was appointed, for a credit union bank. So a lot of the credit union in Liberia, how credit union are loan money and stuff like that, Honorable Camara laid out the foundation, being Liberia is a third world country, and how it should be done. So he underwrites the funds and stuff like that. So he's been into that for a very, very long time. All right, now, when we talk about the recent involvement and all kind of stuff like that, in Mr. Camara manifesto, one of the things he really mentioned that actually I felt really good about was investment and security. Security first. In his manifesto, he talked a great lot about security. And the reason why security is important is because of investment. Investors, Steve, are not going to go to any country if the country does not feel safe. So one of the things in his manifesto he talked about that he's going to really put money into is security. Once this country is secure and safe, being a skillful businessman as he is, and also a politician, he knows exactly how the Liberia is going to grow when we have better security system in Liberia. And that is the part that is forgotten. So we talk about while Liberians are not bringing, how do you call it, investor are not coming. Investors are not going to come. They are never going to go to Liberia if they don't feel safe. So one of the first things that Mr. Honorable Kamala look at here is to tackle the security aspect of Liberia. Let the Liberian people feel safe. People that are coming to invest in the country, let them see that the country is safe before they can come in and start to talk about the infrastructure.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from the chairman. Amidst the fear, skepticism that Liberians might have based on the governments and the positions that was held by your party chairman or standard bearer as we speak now, Mr. Lucene Kamara.
So yes, I am very happy that you said during his tenure, one of those leaders, those were government that were transitional government. Those were the time when people were not, really under scrutiny. I would say that they were not really under scrutiny that is needed, especially so when you have warring factions here and there coming together to form, a government where you have one leader, of that warring faction, being the head. They want to dictate things, and then there was fear under that atmosphere. There was a little bit of fear. So I will try for us to look at that stuff. But then, Bro Lucene Kamara was not, he's one of those. You cannot point to anywhere that he led where you would say that he carried out any corruption. He served with distinction. Yes. When those governments were in place, it was now within his fair view to demand, to say, do this, do that. But for example, under Taylor's government, there was no real central government. Not central government, but central bank, where you have a sound, monetary system in place for people to follow. So those were issues that created what problem they're talking about. But under his leadership in his ministry, where he led, different people and all of that, you would never hear anybody come out to say Lucene Kamara did anything that was, somewhat featured in the honor his leadership. Okay. The other thing again is this: Lucene Kamara is not going to be running the government by himself this time, right? He will have experts. This time it's a government where it's not as a result. He's coming in as a result of the democratic process that took place. And now he's coming in now, he's putting in place a government of influence, and other people are from different places. They're coming together with different expertise, with sound mind, coming together, people who have studied abroad and other places to come and serve. And when the difference between this time serving, becoming president and serving, running a sound government is the other time you send it serve. This time he served. Those were the country was transitioning from war to from war to peace. So in that system, anything could have happened there. It can't be just Lucene Kamara making the decision about the money issue. So I don't see him. If people can say because he served in that government, so whatever happened there, so you can hold him responsible because he served those positions. I want to a little bit digress, with that this position. I want to tell you that this time around, that is why Lucene Kamara has Matthew Dablo, totally different. He's a Christian. The gentleman is, he's a Muslim. Matthew Dablo is a Christian. He's a Muslim. He's bringing different people from different people who have gone out now and learned with the expertise in financing, with the expertise in social services, with expertise in criminal justice, and all of that. So the government is going to be different because there are different people from different professional backgrounds coming together, who understand how to run administration, to be working with him. So his decision is not going to be without money bringing it, because at some point I was told you can get in that honor the Taylor administration, during the Taylor administration, during honor Judy Bryan, money were not taken to the bank. Sometimes they will put the money in the bank, and then it will be the president will demand that the money come to the executive mansion in debt. The U.S. money, all the money that will collect the revenue and all the things will put in debt and send. So that's
let me hold you there, Chairman, because we'll be wrapping this up here, on the hour mark here. Let me hold you there really quick. The Judy Bryan government, it's not a secret, was a corrupt government. In fact, Judy Bryan was even taken to court and so forth on the corruption issues in his government. I am asking you, as finance minister, Mr. Luseni Kamara, can the Liberian people trust him amidst an administration that he served as finance minister in, with huge corruption, whether it was transition or not? Can the Liberian people trust him based on this government that he worked for before, with huge corruption, allegations, and so forth?
It's clear. You are saying that Judy Bryan was taken, to court. You are not saying that Luseni Kamara was taken to court. That is because the ministry he ran it with distinction. He had no problem running the ministry. You can take the government, the president to court and all of that, but Luseni Kamara, where he led, the position he led it with astute administrative experience and distinction, because that is why you cannot point to anything, anywhere where Luseni Kamara has ever been taken to court or he's been accused. You can say you are generalizing this thing. You are saying the government was corrupt, but Luseni Kamara was not corrupt.
Thank you so much. So let's try to wrap this up here. So now we know what ALCO stands for and so forth. What are your pathways because I see the confidence in all three of you. I see the confidence in all three of you. I see the enthusiasm and the momentum. What would you say would be your pathways to the presidency? What are your pathways?
Thank you very much. Right now, what we are tackling is the recipe to winning the election, despite putting up the massive crowd that you saw, where Liberia, the entire nation, came to a standstill. Because they perceived us as the underdog coming in. But over time, now media entities are beginning to talk about us. Now, just a few from now, we are talking for few weeks now. They are beginning to add us to the political equation. Okay, so the pathway now to maintain our position in the country now, what we are doing now is we are focusing on visiting everywhere and making sure that voter registration poll watchers are paid adequately so that they will be present at every polling station, so that our people who are not educated, because we are trying to minimize the issue of canceling votes, like it's illegal vote. The result of illegal vote is when you don't know what you're doing. You mark one or two people and so on. So we are trying to minimize that. So we know that our pathway now to the presidency, so we have the crowd that we have, and I can tell you, those are crowd that are natural constituents. Those people we have, those are people that we are confident are going to vote for us. They just take us to be the crowd we put out there are the crowd that are going to come to vote for us. So to maintain that, the only way we can maintain that is just what I told you. That's the strategy we put in place. Let us make sure that we put at every polling station. We put poll watchers at every polling station. The voter education should be consistent from now up to October 10th. And I know that we will be something.
All right.
All right, Steve, to add on what the chairman just said, right? Okay, this is what we do. I'm adding on as additional strategic approach. What ALCO is also doing in the process, we have started something they call voter smart project. Is a process or pathway of creating what voter obsession with ALCO, and they are displaced voter out there. That's one. You have discouraged voters out there. That's two. You also have number three, neglected voters. You see, ALCO is in the position to attract all of these with retentions and numbers, and we are a force to reckon with. And I think we have proven that we are hair hunters, we are not followers.
Okay, you are hair hunters, you are not followers. Let me close up. Let's close up. Let's close up on this. Let's close up on this conversation because directly and indirectly, you have indicated that the reason for which ALCO is in the race is because the current administration is not doing what is right. Is that right? Is that the reason why ALCO is in the race to change the trajectory?
I mean, yes.
Even though, let's be on the record, even though ALCO brought this administration on elaborate people.
What do you think about that? Let me take a step back.
Because you supported this administration in the second round and brought it on elaborate people.
Well, we did. We can say that we brought it on the Liberian people. In politics, you at the time, at the given situation, decisions you make at the given situation, it becomes at that time your interest is what you see. Let me give you an example. Hold on. Let me give you an example. You right now, people brought in George Weah, from somewhere. They brought him. He's a soccer player. He came from somewhere, and people know that Honorable George Weah at the time was not a politician. Let's look at it. We all know that George Weah was a soccer player, but people came. They saw something that was not right about the first government, whatever the government he was challenging. That's why, because if you select a government and choose him to become a leader of government, somebody who is fringe to the political dispensation of the country, you bring them, you criticize the government, the country president, the sitting president for not doing certain things. Then you bring them, you put them in. That means you have contributed to putting them there. Okay, George Weah came. Nobody questioned George Weah for what he has done about his history, because from the day I started visiting these different talk shows, what they are saying that what has been Lieutenant Kamara's contribution, what was Honorable George Manning Weah's contribution at the time to the country before we Liberians selected him to be the president. Okay. People, based on the fact that they were tired with probably the ruling government, that's why they brought George Weah on board. So what happened there? Our coming to our selection, our joining George Manning Weah, we did not just come to join him. We felt that people came and said they sat down and had meetings and said that who do we go with? Where are our interests? Where is our interest? So this is a decision that was made before we arrived to the conclusion of joining George Weah to become the president.
So Chairman, thank you so much for your expose. Bottom line, ALCO brought George Weah onto the Liberian people.
No.
Wait. Give me a minute.
Okay, finish.
I'm the one asking the question, right?
Okay.
ALCO brought George Weah on the Liberian people. NPP brought George Weah on the Liberian people. Anybody that supported George Weah 2017 to be president today brought George Weah on the Liberian people. It is a fact, and it's not. But here's my question to you guys. You are going to another election. If you don't make it to the second round, are you willing to bring George Weah on to the Liberian people again?
Depends. It depends. Okay. Politics is interest. Yeah, I keep telling you, politics is interest. That I have told you, it depends on. You are saying that are you going to bring it up? Because it's going to be a choice here, right? Either JNB or Cummins or George Weah. It's going to be a choice of any one of us, any one of them. Though I know that ALCOP is going to be somewhere on the top. You don't want. You have not mentioned that we are going to be on the top. I think you should be saying, you should be asking the George Weah people whether they are prepared to join ALCOP. As we are going into this election, because we know that we are going to win this election fair and clear. As long as the Senate is there, as long as the Liberian people, the election commission conduct itself in a fair manner, where there will be no cheating. We know, I am confident that we will be. But since you brought it that way, let's do it with your question. Let's deal with your question.
Yes.
We are going to support whoever we believe is going to be in our interest.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, on the interest, oriented view.
Thank you so much. Let's hear from Mr. Keita, then we'll get your parting comments.
Well, in support of what my chairman just said, it was well articulated explicitly, and his answer was not ambiguous. And we'll call to the chase, Steve. You see, our concern here is to rescue, to resolve the unresolved issue of Liberia. There's high crime, there's drug pandemic, there's ritualistic killing. These are things we don't stand for. It's not our shared value. There's economic injury, and extreme poverty and hardship. We will form an alignment with a political party through a peaceful path, whereas we share what? Aligned interests or orienting view that is willing to adapt the provision of ALCO in helping Liberia from being what? A failing state that will encourage reservoir of talents to come to Liberia, and also investors in operating activities, financing activities, and investing activities. And to also add on your comment that ALCO help in putting the current regime in place. Well, I'll tell you this. In every political situation, there's always a coalition of arrangement. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was the ex-president that was represented by whom? She represented the UP political party. People are saying that her blessing and her money were all put behind whom? Mr. Weah. JNB was vice president for 12 years. Why did she refuse to support her own vice president from UP? Because this guy is a troublist. Hear me out. He's very divisive. There's a video that is trending from 2018. This guy was talking about the suppression of religious tolerance and acceptance in 3 countries, in Guinea, in Liberia, and Sierra Leone. You see, those 3 countries have suffered from the audacity of what? Civil war. You see, ALCO is carrying the skeleton dove of what? Peace in Liberia. I named 3 people earlier that have given their blessing as an expert professional with their legacy. Konovali M. Keita, well recognized as one of the best national security officers who has given his blessing and full weight of expert professional behind ALCO. That's 1. Sam Mohammed Kurma was president of EULA and also a signatory to the peace accord in Accra, Ghana, that helped to end the civil war in Liberia. Number 3, I'm going to name myself. You see, earlier you asked me about my background. Normally, I shy away from telling people who I am and my experience in America. I worked as a mortgage banker for 9 years. In 2008, the most powerful country in the world, the United States of America, were going through what? A major financial disaster, whereas Wall Street was crashing, Main Street was losing their homes. Larry Summer and Timothy Gardner under the Barack Obama government crafted a ZAR program that helped to rescue and recover Wall Street through the credit default program. Main Street was left alone. Main Street included what? Residential mortgage owner and commercial mortgage owner. I was hired by Bank of America as a consultant. And there's a record of it. If they want to contact them, I was able to bring in to Staten Island through the home retention program thousands of people in Staten Island in Brooklyn. And I also gave them the formula that was adapted. Mortgage interest rate went down to 3.5%. This is a policy I champion that I recommended through my employment as a consultant, as a senior loan officer, mortgage banker at Bank of America, that was adapted, and it helps resolve the financial disaster that existed in America. And guess what? People were able to retain their homes. So that tells you that ALCO is coming to the table with people who are expert professionals in the field with legacy, improving legacy what? Life experiential, problem-solving skills.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's get your parting comments. This has been an interesting conversation so far, and I mean, our doors are open. If you want to reach out to us before the elections, after the elections, we are welcome. We're open to receive you guys. Unfortunately, we couldn't be on with your chairman from Liberia because of the rain or the weather situation in Liberia. But let's get your parting comment. 1 minute each, please, if you don't mind. Who wants to go first?
Come on, go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to take this time before I depart to actually introduce a little bit of bio of Honorable Lucini Kamara to the Liberian people. And I know I've seen a lot of the comments here, people making that ALCO is in the interest of themselves and not the people. And I see that to be very vague. Here is the man who have chosen a Christian from the region that is very, very educated, which is the Grand Cape County. And I've never seen any man into the highest high position in Liberia. Here's the man who have gone into Grand Cape and took a Christian. If he was in it for himself, he would be picking up Madingo man. I took a Christian to be his vice president. And besides that, we have about 19 political parties in Liberia. Let's forget about the Madingo-ness. Let's look at the Muslim. So in the entire Liberia, there's not a single Muslim who is educated enough to hold a position of a vice presidency under the remaining candidates that are running. There's none. And this was the only person, this as a Muslim, he picked a Christian. So how is he in it for himself? And then you look at the ALCO leadership. The leadership of ALCO, this is the very first time where we have had Madingo man as a chairman of the party, who is Ansu Darling. Everybody else that have chaired ALCO has been of different tribes, different religion. Even up to now, the chairman of the youth is one toe. The reverend of the party is chairman. What's his name again?
Reverend Brown.
Reverend Brown. So how is this party in it for themselves? So I want people, when you come to this kind of discussion,
Sorry, Reverend Bowie.
You come with positivity. You come with open mind to listen to what people got to say. Then you can grab something from there. But if you come with negativity, you're not going to listen. Everything people say is not going to be important to you. So I want to tell Liberian people, please know a little bit about Honorable Lucini Kamara. He's a veteran politician and also a visionary entrepreneur that has hired a lot of Liberians. He is very, very honored, and he is here to serve the Liberian people. And one of the most important things in Liberia right now is lacking security.
Thank you so much.
The security system in Liberia is poor, and there's no parties talking about it. If you look in the manifesto of ALCO, we are talking about security, but for investors to come in the country, you have to put a lot of money into security. Let the people in the country feel safe, and then you can bring investors in. Then we start to talk about development. All these things we're talking about development It's not going to happen when the country does not have security. And that is the biggest part of ALCOP. So coming October 10th, we want you to sit down and really give the chances to somebody who hasn't been tested. Just as Nima Boyka said, for 12 years, doing his administration, he did absolutely nothing. There's no project that I know of. If you know of one, there's no project that I know of as a vice president that he did. And he presides over the Senate. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Kamara.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let's get your parting comment, Mr. Keita, and then the chairman will be the last here really quick.
Well, Steve, I'll tell you this. Thank you very much for the opportunity. ALCOP is representing the 16 tribes of Liberia. We discuss issue. We don't attack people's characters. Because people have unresolved issue in Liberia, and we are trying to bring in rules or craft rules into policy and policy provision as a strategy to help Liberia. Because attacking the character of people doesn't solve problem. I'll tell you this. In the absence of well-structured, organized government agency and human resources, with expert professional qualifying experiential credential in operating, investing, and financing activity, Liberia have inherited problems from UP government for the past 18 years of hard crimes, drugs pandemic, economic injury, hardship, health concern, ritualistic killing, neglect of women and children's safety, bad faith contract negotiated by incompetent people, and failures of compliance and integrity in contract negotiation. And conclusively, ALCOP is your answer for a coalition government for Christians, Muslims, and civil tribal leaders.
Thank you.
Where is our missing $1.6 billion on our UP government? Where is our $500 million? And look at Rwanda. They got less. Look at Liberia. We got more. They squander all the money. ALCOP is your answer. We are open to coalitions. You can come to our table. We have set the momentum, and with trust and enthusiasm, in integrity, with availability and continuity to help solve Liberian unresolved issue. And Steve, once more again, I will say thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, let's get to the chairman. Chairman, really quick, let's get your parting comments here.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Let me take this time to thank my friends and my official, my team, for coming and brilliantly selling our chairman and our party. You couldn't have said it better. I want to thank you, SKTV, for giving us the opportunity to come here this evening to at least talk to the Liberian people with respect to what we have that is going to change, that is going to transform the government of Liberia. And so based on that, we ask them to vote for Lucien Kamara 2023 in October. Listen, before we go anywhere, let's compare the government, the various parties, and look at the makeups of those parties. Let me start with my party first, and this is in comparison. Look at the makeup of the various party, because Steve, you as a journalist, you know the various officials of different parties here. I mean, you know who the second in commands are when it comes to the various parties. All right, the running mates. Okay, Lieutenant Kamara, the reason I have been convinced unequivocally, is because of his sound decision making. Liberian people, you can no longer continue to make the same mistake over and over again. You have to try different strategies, because from time to time you have been making mistakes, and then 6 months later you get in the street risking your lives and telling them, we don't want you, you have to calm down. This is the clear choice, people. You look at the various political parties, you can see from the makeup that indeed which one of those parties is in the supreme interest of the Liberian people. The party of ALCOP, let's look at the makeup of it. Let's start from the party itself. Honorable Ansu Dolan, chair. Regular Kofa, vice chair for administration.
Emmanuel Z. Brown. I'm calling names because look at it. These are not Mandingo names. These are not Mandingo names. These are not Muslim names. Because when you see Mohammed, Sekou, Siaka, Musa, then you start to talk about. Listen to the names as I'm reading to them. I'm talking to the Liberian people, not to you, Steve, but the Liberian people. I know they are watching us. This show happens. This your entity happens to be a very big entity that when we are on, you got the whole Liberia watching. So that's one thing I credit you with. And I'm always on your show. I just don't show myself. So look at it. Ansu VS Dollar. That's a Mandingo name. Okay. Regular Kofa, Vice Chair for Administration. Emmanuel Z. Brown, Vice Chair for Operations. Steve Jojo, Vice Chair for Legal Affairs. Austin Cole, Youth Chairman. Okay. And then you look at Reverend Bowie. Amara has said we have said Emmanuel, but it's Reverend Bowie. It's not Imam Bowie or it's not Sheikh. Reverend, listening to it, Reverend Bowie. So you see the makeups. Now, I'm trying to give you this. You compare those the makeup of the party with the makeup of other party. So the reason I said decision making is crucial. He had transcended beyond tribal land, religious land. I'm talking about Lucene Kamara, tribal land, religious land, and went beyond. Obviously, the Constitution of the Republic says when you are vying for presidency, the person you're going to choose next to you should not come from the same country you're coming from. Of course, he did that. He has gone beyond. So, my people, our country is about to be in a good hand where you can compare it to Rwanda. And Lucene Kamara Senior is the choice. Join us come October 10th. Let's make this happen. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you guys, folks.
Steve, I want to add a footnote to it.
And Steve, I sent you $25, so you know.
Thank you so much.
Steve, sorry for interrupting. I just want to give you some historical information on my family.
Let me give you a minute because we got to close the program up.
I know. I want to tell you this. My grandfather, great grandfather, Ome Young, Unotan in Niba County Cork Piaple. He was the only individual he was a spiritual advisor of President Tubman, and he had over 99 children, and over 90 of those kids were conceived by his wives and concubines that were Mano and Gio. You see, there's no division in Akko where we come from. These are bloodlines that are extending to the Mano and Gio. These are cousins. I name one. Mamadi Domba Kroma has the biggest trust in Liberia. So Akko is a part of inclusion, and my legacy and the legacy of my family is a family of inclusion. And we are a legacy family in Liberia, in Nimba County. And we can be trusted our power through spiritual means, through our expert professional background in national security and public safety, in banking and finance and social services that is lacking in this current regime. There's no compliance. Liberia is sending to a failed state. And once more, Steve, thank you very much for creating a venue for us to come on with my chairman and the honorable Kamara. And it's a win-win. It's a win-win party.
Thank you so much, folks. You were here with us today in conversation with the leadership of ALCOP. They will be leaving us. I'll make some very brief announcements here. We want to say thanks to the leadership of ALCOP. Have a good weekend. Our doors are open as always. Thank you so much for being here with us. Let's see. Well, folks, as you heard, the leadership of ALCOP, they're urging you to vote for ALCOP Camp 2023. We want to say thanks to them for making up the time. Again, our doors are open to all political parties. ALCOP did pay the fees to be hosted today. They pay. Let me tell you that you're labyrinthine where you can do that cheap, funny thing. Or you come back, oh, my man, you know my man. All these people that I see Lana, they are friends to us. They aren't talking about that friend and thing on the phone. We're not impressing your own phone. They were still able to pay to come here. That all charotting what you can be doing. You call, oh, you know, and let me just come on the show. You won't be president, you just come on the show. You think you just come on the show? You think we get time to just be saying and be wasting when you take power to tomorrow? You don't know. Your team say we here for that thing. We're not here for that thing. If your political leader will come on the show, your political leader will pay. So you get it today. Your political leader will pay the amount. You don't want to pay, go to all the show, then what I can do free thing. With nobody coming and sit down again to do your free thing. We're not going to do that thing. It's not going to happen. Tomorrow you don't want to miss a show. There is a lot going on. Tomorrow, we're not interviewing nobody. We're not getting no guests. Maybe unless something changes. But as far as we're concerned now, we don't have any guests. Sekou will be on. Tomorrow we want to discuss the strategy of the smell no taste party. You know, you have a smell no taste before we can go in lab smell no taste. The actual name for it is smell no taste. The smell no taste party, United Party. They will smell, and we told you on the show that it will end in cheer for them. And we told you, Yahweh, the plans that they have been close to, we're discussing tomorrow. The reason you see them bouncing around, opposition might come together, and the government will do the one, the government will do that one. United Party can do nothing. They can bring war to Liberia. In fact, they're too broke for that fully talk they're talking. That bunch of talking. What they won't see before. And they talk in Lofa. What they not do? And they going to sue in Lofa. They ever went to court. They got money to pay their own rent. They want that living on promissory note. I don't want his own listen to. And they can be passing around paying for the talk food in public. How they will do the one, they will bring water, they will bring that one, they will bring water, they will do the one, they will do that one. Let them bring war. But tomorrow we'll discuss them. Tomorrow we'll discuss them. We'll discuss it on the show tomorrow. That fear moon, they'll be talking. They ain't get nothing going on. Oh, Sekou will be here by the good because Sekou was so thank you for it. They can't do nothing. They ain't got nothing going on. That fear tactics they're on. They're intimidated. They ain't got nothing going on. They can do nothing. They ain't want to do somebody who not get you not get food to eat. Like you say you went for it. You say you lazy man get for it. Hungry man can go for it. You get pay your own rent. Are you talking about war? You think war cheap? You know more for one gunshot? For one bullet, you know what? When you talk about war, you think you're just working on it. They can't do nothing. The United Party can't do nothing. The dead bear, that dead bear party, bunch of noise maker, they can't do nothing. That dead bear party, y'all see. But we'll discuss it tomorrow in details. Tomorrow, you don't want to miss it. Tomorrow, they will be in there feeling power. It will be vegetable frog. And I don't care. I'm not here for that. You already know what time it is. You already know. Tomorrow we'll discuss what the plan is and what they are up to. They fear that they're passing around with, talking foolishness with confidence. You able to bring war in Labra. You got food to eat, you can bring war. Yeah, Joseph Baga all talking foolishness. Joseph Baga all talking. Joseph Baga you can run. You talking about war, you can run. When walker, you ought to move. You ought to move. You talking passing down a small children, you're talking stupid there. You and Prince Johnson, you're able to move. You're talking about war. Young people will be talking now. You also will be talking. But tomorrow we'll discuss it. Liberia enough for United Party. United Party now own Liberia. They will smell it. They will not taste it. And I ever smell no taste? Smell no taste. They no go taste. They will not taste it. And we here. We right here. The scene where I told y'all, we told y'all on SKTV here that they were not going to win in Lofa. United Party will not win nothing. Go mark it in your book. Today is Saturday, the 23rd September. United Party will now win and they can do nothing. And after they lose, it will be the end of United Party. The party will dissolve. And yeah, they will lose and the party will dissolve. They can do nothing. What do they can do? They can do nothing. The one who live on promissory note, you can pay a whole rent. Like you say, you B-boy, you can pay a whole rent. Bunch of broke, entitled, delusional people. He's going to be president in Labra. You think it's like joking thing on it? Yeah. Tomorrow, don't miss the show. Unity Party can do nothing. You don't be afraid, man. Like just be mortal. They ain't get nothing to offer. They will never have anything to offer. All of y'all who support Unity Party in America that resign from your job. All of y'all who resign from your job, go get your job back. And yet, if you break up with your girlfriend, go back and make it right. Go beg that girl. Start calling people to beg her back. If you break up with your boyfriend for Unity Party, go back and beg people to bring that person back. Go back now. The sooner the better. Go back and beg your manager and take your job back. Tell them, say, you don't know what you're doing, I forgive you. Take your job back. Take your job back. You're sorry. I got one Sanama Swan here that I got to let go. I don't deal with Sanama Swan here. You want to be Sanama Swan? Oh. I got one Sanama Swan that I got to let go, yeah? I don't work with Sanama Swan here. You already peaked that you say you want to call somebody dog. You follow a bunch of stupid people then. You tell me say that you still call me dog. You call yourself Sanama Swan. You call yourself P. Now you hear me call myself dog before in public. Now you hear me call myself dog because I know dog at dog. You follow people and call yourself dog and pigs, then I mean you also be on that stupid level. As well refer to myself as dog. As well refer to myself as P. A pig here. You don't serious. Carry on serious somewhere. Go over your fellow pigs, then you're talk foolishness. Don't bring it to me. I don't play games. I'm not here for that. You're stupid. And you know, like you say we can be on that level. Me and you are not on that level. You already know me. Me and you are not on that level. I don't taste. I don't play. I don't joke around with you. I don't joke around with your foolishness. Or carry somewhere. Again, if you break up with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your husband or you left your job, please go back for your job. Unity Party is done. After October 10th, that whole foolishness you see them passing around will dissolve. Nothing. They will be in court for the rent payment because who won't pay again? Who wants to support them? And we tomorrow we'll be on the show. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Sekou will be on by the grace of God. That is if you're not tired now, but he will be on. I trust that he will be on. But folks, let's have a good day. Let's have a good weekend. I got something to do. I got to go run to it really quick. But thank you. Thank you for always following SKTV. Thank you so much. Prince Johnson is striking because they're scared. they know in the Puebla. They understand the timing. But anyway, folks, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Let's get quick to the musical break.